So I was fortunate enough to be chosen to test out one of GardePro's trail cameras. I believe this is a cellular camera. I think they included a solar panel and an extra battery. We'll go ahead and open the box and take a look at it. So, I plan on setting it up and putting it out on one of the trails out here at the cabin. And I'll do a few more videos on how it's performed. There goes the camera in the box. And it is a solar panel. Came with a 64 gigabyte SD card. That's nice. I didn't know if this camera had an SD card in it or not. That seems like I saw some cameras that are cellular, they don't have an SD card. That'll be nice to have. Solar panel. Looks pretty good. So, came with the solar panel, the mounting hardware for the solar panel, a strap. So, hardware that it can be mounted to, I guess, side of a building. Oops. I'll go through this and then come back to it. The antenna. Camera it's a nice size. It's not so big and bulky. Opens up easy. I see the SD card slot. It's USB-C. So that's different than any of the other cameras that I've had so far. It has the lithium-ion battery included in it. That'll be nice. It is a 7,800 milliamp hour battery. So go ahead and put the antenna on. It may not be the best part to start up without an antenna on it. So it's going through, wants me to take my phone and scan the QR code, and it's going to give me an app. I haven't done that, so let's finish sort of going over the looks of the camera, and then I'll do that in little pieces and parts, put it together where its video won't be so long. But I am first of all impressed with the weight of the camera and the feel that it's not real flexy and thin material like some of the cameras that I have. seal around it. It's a real wide. It's about twice the width of some of the cameras that I have. So I'm hoping it'll be pretty waterproof. Let's see, it already has a SIM card in there. I think this SIM card is multiple services. It'll pick up whichever one's the best. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but not 100%. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna read over a little bit of the information on this, and I'll get back to filming this camera. I looked through the user manual a little bit. First of all, my impressions of the user manual is it is really easy to read. The size of the text is good. It breaks down the functions and stuff and gives you information. Probably won't need once I load the app. I haven't done that. I am about to load the app and go through some of that setup. So on Android, you can go to the Play Store and download GardePro mobile app. So once you get that installed, you can go ahead and start connecting to your camera. Alright, I have the GardePro app pulled up. I need to turn this camera on, I guess. It's a cellular camera. I'll have to set my account up. It's going to go through and ask you to accept the privacy statement. I'm not an expert on these, but I do like to go through a little bit and see if any red flags stand out. It is a pretty long document. I went ahead and accepted it. I see several people out there. I'm seeing YouTube videos on the GardePro stuff, and respectable YouTubers that are doing reviews on them. If they loaded the app, I guess it's okay for me to do that. That was my email giving me my verification code. So let's go to that. And I will copy that and then go back to the app. Now I have to create a password. Alright, I should be able to remember that. Now it's asking me to add a camera, and we'll go ahead and turn the camera on. It's a cellular camera, and I'm betting that QR code is going to come in handy now. So when I picked cellular camera, it's loading. We'll do a screen record on this, but you can see my password, and I have to blur that out. There's this X6 series, and it's going through steps. If you purchase the camera with the cellular SIM card, check that the SIM card is in the slot. Check. So now it's asking for me to scan the QR code. So let's get that, and that was pretty quick. So I just pulled this camera out of the woods, set it up. It's been out there basically a week. I've had 2 major rainstorms, so we'll look inside and see if it's wet. This is the GardePro X66 Pro. GardePro sent me an email asking me if I would take a look at or be interested in looking at one of their cameras and doing a video on it. They sent the camera to me at no charge, and all they're asking is that I give my honest opinion on this camera. I'm not going to claim to be an expert in trail cameras. I do use them, have been using them for a long time. But I just set them up and collect the pictures. No real science behind it and stuff. But I've been impressed with the camera so far. I know that I don't have many images. Things that I was really happy about was I was getting a whole bunch of photos, and without having to go out in the woods, I was able to pull the app up and change some of the sensitivity settings. So that was a big change, because all the other cameras that I've had up until this one, that was something I was going to have to go out in the woods, make changes on the camera, and cross my fingers that I got settings that were going to still capture the wildlife walking by, but not every leaf that fell off of a tree. So that was good. The app, you just download it. I have an Android, so you download it off the Play Store, and loads up. A QR code pops up on the camera. Once you get that app installed on your phone, pretty much does most of the stuff for you. Didn't have to even look at the manual to do that setup. I'm not recommending that. I'm just one of those people, you know, I try it, and then if all else fails, I get the manual. The manuals are impressive. You can see the type on them. It's big, you know, easy to read, very easy to navigate the manuals that come with the camera. Really like that. A lot of things that you get now, they might provide a manual, but you need a magnifying glass to go over anything in them. It's like trying to read the fine print on a medication. So you won't find that, at least on the X66 Pro manual. Another thing that I was impressed about with this is the solar panel. It does have a solar panel with it. I think the kit comes with the solar panel. You can, I believe, buy the camera without one, but there is a kit that comes with the solar panel as well. Battery had 55% life on it. And even though that the solar panel was in a heavy canopy, very little direct sunlight making it through that canopy, every day the battery was stronger. By a fair margin. The solar panel was able to provide power to run that's the camera right there. But the solar panel could provide enough power to run the camera and charge the camera battery up higher than it was the day before. So, let me turn the camera off so it'll quit. Battery power right now is at 88%. Started off at 55. We've had 2 days that were fairly major rain event days. And the solar panel maybe would have a spot as the sun would go by. You may have one little clear shot at the sky. Very impressed with the abilities of the solar panel. Solar panel and the camera, here's the size. So it is a fairly big solar panel. Not a whole lot larger than some of the others I've seen, but it works. It's made the batteries be at a higher point every day than they were from the day before, and that's in a very dense canopy, very little direct sunlight making it through. So that's impressive. So I've had the camera out in the woods for a few weeks now. And this past weekend I was able to go out and pull the card. I'll share those videos with you at the end of this. So I'd like to go over pros and cons. The con list is very short. This is
for me, I'm not a expert in the field of trail cameras. I just going to share my opinion of what works for me and doesn't. So I'll start off with the bad, since it's such a short list. And for me, it doesn't even matter. But if you're a public land hunter and you want to have this camera out on public land, make sure that they have a cage that this camera can go in, and that way you can secure the front door on it. Even though it has a cable, hoops to cable lock this to a tree, you still can gain access to the controls on the inside of the camera and the SD card. So no way of locking that other than if they have a cage that this will go in. That is not going to steer me away from this camera. For me, that would just be more effort I'd have to put forth to get to the card to swap them out. So I'm not a public land hunter, so not a big deal for me. Top things I'll start off with, and that's my pet peeve. It has a standard SD card and not a micro SD card. I am not a fan of a micro SD card in a trail camera. Next would be the manual. When you go to set this camera up, I highly recommend, if you're somebody like me that thinks, well, if all else fails, read the manual, I recommend you open the box and this is the first thing you grab, because it's going to be one of the best manuals you have probably seen in any trail camera, at least any that I've purchased and set up. You won't need a magnifying glass or cheaters to be able to see the step-by-step instructions in this manual. Very well laid out. So the next thing that I have on my list is the live view. And I really didn't even think much about the live view at the beginning until two things. When I set the camera up and it dawned on me, I have the camera aimed and I think that it's going to pick up exactly what I'm wanting it to pick up. And I remembered it had live view, and I pulled up live view and finalized the last setting, and it's aimed exactly where I wanted it now. The other thing with live view is whenever the weather's a little bit questionable and I want to see what's going on out there, I can pull up live view and see the conditions. I also can look at my weather station and determine if I want to take the risk. Seeing a beautiful sunny day will definitely get me in the car and out to the cabin. So that's two things that live view for me has really been good. As far as the video quality, I don't have it set on the highest setting. This will do 1296p and 1080p and 720, I believe it is. I have it set at 1080p, and that's plenty good enough for what I use a trail camera for. Day and night, the video's good, so I'm not going to complain about that. I haven't even tried the highest quality settings, so I can't. Audio is better than any other trail camera that I've heard, hands down. It's clear and picks up the chewing noise from a raccoon from a pretty good distance away from the camera eating corn. So you'll hear that in some of the video clips. The app, my first experience with a cellular camera, and having that app and being able to change settings on all of the features on the camera has been really good. When I first set it up, I had it a little bit too sensitive, and I was getting too many photos of just a leaf moving, and I was able to make that adjustment sitting on my couch. That's a very handy feature to have, the ability to adjust your settings on your camera remotely. I like the fact that I can get an alert and see whenever we have some movement out on the property. That's been different. I've been so accustomed to just going out and pulling cards and taking them home and view them on my computer. Now, if something passes this camera, I get an alert and I get it's more like a time-lapse video of whatever action triggered the camera. Works out fine for me. Talk about the body of the camera a little bit. It is definitely way more rigid than the last two cameras that I've purchased, and the seal for the door is about double the width, and it's already proven itself through pretty strong rain. So we've had 2 or 3 rain events that were completely white out. You couldn't see in front of you. It was raining so hard, and the camera was dry when I pulled the card. So that's a big plus, because some of my other cameras out there, it didn't shut the camera down, but when I opened the door, it was moisture inside that area. I will say that I am an affiliate for GardePro now. When they reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in testing some of their gear, that was one of the things. They immediately made me an affiliate. So I will get a little bit of kickback if you buy one of these cameras using the link that I'll provide in the description. The better thing is you'll get a 15% discount. So if you use the link I provide, that'll get you a little bit off of that internet price that they're advertising. So I'm not going to push this camera. I'm sharing with you how it's performed for me. I strongly recommend that you go online and read up and see if this fits your needs. Compared to the other cameras I have, it easily checks all the boxes for my needs. Plus, it has that extra feature that none of my other cameras have, and it has that cellular feature. Being able to see remotely is, I'll say it's a game changer. If you go through the manual, you'll see this does have a security mode, so you can set up the camera where it does time lapse, whatever features extra when you're using it as a security camera. I recommend you go online, look up this camera. It's the GardePro X66 Pro, and see if this fits your needs. It's a really good camera. But I'll provide a link to their website. If you use the link that has Long's Quest at the end of it, that'll give you a 15% discount, and I'll get maybe $1 or so off of your purchase for me. So we'll see how that works out. I'm not as interested about that happening as making sure that I'm give the information people need to make that final decision. And my needs for a trail camera, I know, don't match everybody else's. That's why I still strongly encourage you to go to their website and read up on this camera and make your final decision that way. I personally would buy another one, and it may be on the list. So I want one. We have a couple of different tracts of land. One at the cabin is a smaller piece of property, and that's where the camera is now. And then we have a large tract with a small stream running through it. And if I can find a spot that I don't have to worry about being underwater for a day or so, because that stream is very ill behaved this time of the year, I'll set up a camera down there and be able to see what's going on too. I guess that's going to do it. Like I said, I'll go ahead and I'll put those videos so you can see this camera in action. I appreciate you watching the video, and I hope this was helpful for you in your decisions on your next camera purchase. Thanks for watching.